I'd like to talk about the economy and politics very quickly. Whether you like it, or I like it, or whether the administration likes it, the success or failure of Donald Trump will hinge on the status of the economy. It will outrank everything. So here's my question though. When Cory Booker stands up for 25 hours, does he give an alternate agenda on the economy? Does Nancy Pelosi talk about the economy? She used to. We haven't had balanced trade for 50 years. No one is giving any alternatives. No one is talking in any way that they have an antithetical and a better plan than Donald Trump. It's just attack Trump, 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 Trump. Hello, this is Victor Davis Hanson for the Daily Signal. I'd like to talk about the economy and politics very quickly. Whether you like it, or I like it, or whether the administration likes it, or whether the Congress, or whether people like it, the success or failure of Donald Trump will hinge on the status of the economy. It will overshadow the miraculous achievement on the border, where he went from a rate of about 2 million people a year to almost zero illegal immigration. It will even outrank the question of peace and stability in Ukraine or the Middle East. It'll outrank everything. So here's my question. There is now outrage, hysteria over the last 24 hours to 48 hours that Donald Trump has outlined his tariff program to bring down the nearly $1 trillion trade deficit. And the stock market has taken hits. So here's my question though. When Cory Booker stands up for 25 hours, does he give an alternate agenda on the economy? Does Nancy Pelosi talk about the economy? She used to. Does the Wall Street Journal, when they criticize Donald Trump, why don't they get a columnist and say, these are the 10 points that are preferable in addressing our economic challenges? Now, what are our economic challenges? Well, the first is debt. We owe $37 trillion. We're paying $3 billion a day in interest. We're running a $1.7 trillion deficit. So if you were on the left and you were part of the machine that borrowed $7 trillion under Joe Biden, created these huge new programs, why don't you make an argument? Just say, I believe in modern monetary theory. I believe if we can just get down to 1 or 2% interest, you can service any debt, because the bondholders, they're wealthy anyway. So that's what we've been doing. And I believe money's a construct. It's just an idea. So there is no such thing as, red or blue ink, any of that. So just keep spending, there's no problem. 37, 40, say that. Or if you're on the right, say, I prefer to look at the debt in a different way. If you're going to cut, why select particular fraud, waste, and abuse areas? Why not just go across the board and treat everybody the same with a 4 or 5% or 10% cut? Or if you don't believe in cutting government to reduce the debt, then say, let's just go completely laissez-faire. And let's grow the economy so it's growing at 4 or 5% GDP, and it will solve the problem. Or if you're in the middle and you're an independent, why don't you just say, we had 3 balanced budgets. We were reducing the debt because Newt Gingrich controlled taxes, and Bill Clinton controlled spending. And he was able to find a incentive plan to increase revenue, and Bill Clinton decrease spending. Okay, why not we go back and follow their model? But the problem is, none of these areas, right, center, and left, nobody in these disciplines is offering any alternative agenda. It's just attack Trump, 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 Trump. Let's go to trade. So we have, again, about $1 trillion trade deficit. We haven't had balanced trade for 50 years. Our opponents, challengers, allies, whatever you want to call them, feel that protected tariffs in China, in India, in Europe, in South Korea, in Japan have been very conducive to their economic miracle, post-war miracles. And they feel that there must be some wisdom in them because they continue to perpetuate them. They have not run deficits for a half century. They're not, in terms of GDP debt, quite like we are. So maybe you can argue that tariffs are just an American problem, an obsession, and they don't really matter. Or you can say that we should have reciprocal tariffs based on each one, but tell us what you want to do. Why don't you just say that if you, and I have read this from scholars as diverse as the American Enterprise Institute, the Cato, this is just a construct. Trade deficits, they don't matter. Because the people, if they run up a surplus, they buy our bonds or they invest, and it's a circular process. Just say that. Or if you believe that trade deficits matter, then you say, well, the answer is not through tariffs. It's through greater productivity. And here's how I want to do it. But again, there's nothing. And then we get finally into foreign investment. Donald Trump is bragging, I think justifiably so, that he may have $3 to $5 trillion in foreign investment. Nobody says a word about it. Nobody says this many trillion dollars will result in this many new jobs created. No, they just kind of ignore it. So give us a reason why. Just say, the new massive amounts of foreign aid will have no effect on either our trade deficit or our budget deficit. It's just a construct that Trump says. Or say that it will, but it won't nullify the pernicious effects of tariffs. But what I'm getting at in conclusion is, what if Cory Booker had said, I'm going to speak for 25 hours why Donald Trump's trade, debt, and federal workforce investment are all wrong, and here's da 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 da. Or what if Hykem Jeffries said, here is our contract to America on the economy. No one is giving any alternatives. No one is talking in any way that they have an antithetical and a better plan than Donald Trump. So what we're left with is just naysaying nihilism, criticism, and the American people are confused. If you don't believe that what Donald Trump is trying to do on debt, budget, workforce, trade, then come up with a better agenda and show why it will work and why his will fail. But don't just scream and yell and cause all hysteric and go to street theater, because that's no answer. It only amplifies the problem. This is Victor Davis Hanson for the Daily Signal. Thank you for tuning in to the Daily Signal. Please like, share, and subscribe to be notified for more content like this. You can also check out my own website at victorhanson.com and subscribe for exclusive features in addition.